Hello YouTube, and welcome to Babcia Crafts. I'm Christina, and today we're going to learn a couple different methods on how to reroute hair. The first method we're going to learn is rerouting a doll's hair with the rerouter tool. Second, the lock and loop method, and third is the darning needle method. First, we're going to obviously need some hair. I did go to a bunch of different craft stores, and the quality of hair they had was awful. So I went to Sally's, and I found great hair there. Unfortunately, it was $30 to $50 for hair. The lady at Sally's referred me to a place called Abe's or Abel's, and those are the kind of places you want to go. The hair places that are not main franchises like Sally's. I got premium style, tangle free, 100% and natural human hair. And this is a color number 4, it's a brown, and it's got just a slight tint of red to it, and it only costs $6.99 with tax. That is definitely doable. So I got a couple different packs because I wasn't sure exactly how much hair I was going to need to reroute my niece's Springfield doll, and so I wanted to make sure we had enough. So we're going to go ahead and start. I'm going to put this aside. The name of this, by the way, is called OMG, Eli's OMG Remy Style, and they have even cheaper hair there that was $1.99 for a whole big pack, but it's braiding hair, and that one you can use for your African American dolls or dolls that you plan on maybe doing dreadlocks or braids on, but it was very kinky. So this is nice straight hair. You can use a curling iron on it, you can wash it, you can dry it, and the only thing with this hair is, just like any human hair, you will end up with dead ends after a while. So tell your children, yes, we can do this, but this is something we only do very seldom. Otherwise, you will have beautiful, beautiful human hair for your doll. Okay, moving on. So we're going to start with the rerouting tool first, and I'll show you with a piece of hair how to do this on the doll, and then I will show you with a piece of yarn on the paper how to do it, because it actually shows up better on camera. So the first thing you want to do is run your hair under a faucet just to wet it, or use a spray bottle because it's so much easier to work with wet hair. Okay. Then what you're going to want to do is wrap that hair around your finger 2 times. So join the ends of the hair, find the middle, and wrap it around your finger twice. You're going to take your rerouting tool, and you want to use the longer end at the bottom and the shorter end at the top, and you're just going to scoop up that hair like so. Okay, that's what it's going to look like right there. Okay, then you're going to put your finger over the top so that hair doesn't fall off, and you're going to have this loop there. Pull on the hair, that loop turns into a knot. Bring that hair down your rerouting tool and pull. Make sure you have a good hold on it. And what you're going to do is find a hole on the doll's head that you can stick it into. And still holding on to that hair, push it in there. There we go. Let go of the hair. Pull your rerouting tool out. Tug on the hair a little bit, not a lot. You don't want to pull it back out. And what that does is it creates a knot on the inside. Because the hole on this doll, it's a Springfield doll, is too tiny for me to get my fingers in, I can't do it, but some of the smaller dolls, or dolls with bigger holes that you can actually get in there, you can take a little bit of glue and just drop it right on that knot so it stays more securely, and that's it. And you do that in every single hole on her head, or what they call plugs, and every single plug on her head. And that's the rerouting method. I'll meet you back here and we will go over the rerouting method on paper. Okay, now that we've done that, let's go ahead and take a look at it on the paper. What I did is, instead of using hair for this, I'm going to use thread. This is just Aunt Lydia's basic thread. And let's see, grab a piece of this here. And you'll want to make both ends equal. So go ahead and make those equal. And remember, if this was here, it would be wet. You're going to wrap it around your finger twice. Pick this up with your rerouting tool, which thread is a little bit more difficult to work with than here. Make sure the longer part's on the bottom. There's one. Two. Stick your finger over the top of the rerouting tool. You have your loop, pull, bring that hair down, make sure you have a good hold on it and that hair won't fall out of there. And what you're going to do, if this was the top of your doll's head, just as we did here, you're just going to take that, punch it through, let go of the hair, and pull out the rerouter tool. Tug ever so gently on the hair just to bring it to the edge, and what you'll end up with is a little ball knot right here. And like I said, if you can get to it through the bottom of the doll's head, then you can put a little drop of glue on there so it stays better. So that's the rerouting method on paper. And when we come back, I'll show you the lock and loop method on paper. Hello and welcome back. We are going to go ahead and do the lock and loop method, and instead of using the hair, we're going to use the thread because it just shows up better on paper. And what you are going to want to do for the lock and loop method is you are going to want to put the needle in through the bottom of the head like so, and then bring it out. Let me find a hole here. There we go. And bring it out of one of the holes on the top of her head. And then with the hair in a loop, grab it, and you are going to be pulling it inside her head. And the reason I'm not using this method is because her neck is so small I can't grab it from the inside. But that's your basic idea. You always want to start from the inside and poke the needle out of the top of her head. So that's what we're going to do on paper. So assuming that this is the top of the head, this part, and this would be the bottom, the neck, we are going to insert our needle into the bottom, like so. Fold our hair in half. Grab it with the crochet hook, and this is like a 1mm size crochet hook, or you can use a 1.65. That works as well. It just depends. It has to be able to go through the hole on the doll's head. So you want to go as small as you have to get into the plugs. And what you'll end up with is, inside, you'll end up with a little loop. You leave that little loop there, and we'll grab another piece of hair that's already divided in half. Put your crochet hook through your existing loop and into the hole next to it. grab your hair, bring it through, and through that second loop. Holding the second loop, you want to tug up on the first hair that you put in, on the top of the head. So what it does is it makes it tight with that loop. Okay. Now we have the next loop. We have our next piece of hair ready. Stick the crochet hook in through the neck. Bring it out through the top of the head. Grab your hair onto the crochet hook. Bring it through the hole on her head. And make sure that that loop goes in the middle of the second loop. Holding your third loop, you're going to tug. Holding your third loop, you're going to tug on the second piece of hair. And what that's going to do is make the second one tight now. With your needle, you want to go through the middle of the third loop, through the peg on her head, through the hole. Grab your fourth piece of hair, bring it through. Bring it through the middle of that third loop, hold on to it, and then tug on the hair. Tug on the hair from the third one to make that loop tight. And that's what you end up with. Let's do that one last time. With your crochet hook in the middle of the fourth loop, go through the peg on her head or hole on her head, up through the neck, bring it through to the top of the head. With your hair wet and folded in half, put it on the crochet hook. Bring that hair back through. Make sure it's in the middle of that fourth loop, like so. Hold on to the fifth hair, and from the top of the head you will pull the hair that's in the fourth and that makes your fourth loop. Now to finish the hair off, what you'll want to do is on that, and we're going to pretend this is the end of the row. You went all the way around and you're back at the beginning again. This is how you're going to finish it off. You're going to bring that, only half of that fourth loop, so hold half of that here on the top so it doesn't pull through. Pull through the other half of the hair. Make a knot in the hair. And you want to have it as close as possible to the scalp. And this time you're going to go through, to end it, the top of the head, so you'll put your needle in through the top and grab it from the bottom, so opposite than what you've been doing. So put that needle in through the top, grab the hair, bring it through, and that knot's going to get stuck there, so, and then just gently bring that hair up, and then you can kind of tug on both ends of that. And what's going to happen is that knot, either way you pull that hair, is going to stop it from going anywhere. So that's how you end that row. Okay, so that is the lock and loop method opposed to the reroute tool that we did earlier. The last method I'm going to show you is the darning needle method, and that's the method I'm actually going to use on her head. I would definitely use the lock and loop method. Unfortunately, I can't get the crochet hook through her neck to reach. It's not tall enough, and the base is too wide right here, so I can't easily stick it through. So we're going to use the darning needle method. The reason I'm not using the rerouter tool, if she was older and she didn't have a 4-year-old brother that liked to pull on her doll's hair, that would be great. But with the reroute tool, you can easily pull that hair out. And when she brought me the doll, it had a bunch of little missing pieces throughout her head. So that's why we're not using that method. So I am going to show you the darning needle method next. Hello YouTube, we are going to go ahead and start the darning needle method, and for this video you're going to have your wet piece of hair, okay, slightly dampened, and you can use a little spray bottle or just run it under the water, or if you're like me, put it in your mouth and just run it through. Now, instead of threading the needle, and you can do that, take the end of the hair and put it through the eye of the needle, or use a the needle guide and put it through that way. You can simply use a piece of dental floss, and what you'll do is you'll bring it through so that you have two ends on one side and the loop going through the middle, so you can pull that loop, and that's what you're going to put your hair through. So you can go ahead and put that through, and I'm just going to pre-knot the end of my hair. Now you can single knot this or double knot this, put a dab of glue on the end, and all you have to do is, once your hair is through, tighten your dental floss so it holds the opposite side of the hair, because the knot's on this side, so you want it on that side. And you take the darning needle and put it through the bottom of the head and find one of the little holes on her head and put it through the hole like so. I can get it through the hole. Okay, and then just simply pull that needle out through the top of her head. The dental floss will come through, and then pull on the hair, and then the knot will be stuck in there. So that's your first piece of hair. Okay, that's one method, that's going from the bottom out. The next method, and if you do pull on that and your knot's not big enough, it will just come through. I kind of did that intentionally. The other method is to put the hair through, tighten your dental floss, and go through the top of the head, down through the bottom. And for this I'm going to use a pair of hemostats because my needle's not quite long enough. And obviously it won't be pre-knotted at this point. You bring the hair through this way and then knot the hair at the bottom here. And you want to do that a couple times so that when you pull on the hair up here, that knot gets stuck and the hair just stays there. So that's another method. The third method is to take your thread, put your hair through halfway, or little over halfway. So you just put your hair through there, like so. Now you have the short end here, the long end here. Bring that needle up through the bottom and through one of the holes on her head, like so. Hold on to the bottom of the hair, and that's if it's long enough. So if you have hair and you plan on cutting it don't if it's too long, because if it's really, really long, this works great for that. And then just pull out your thread so that you have the second piece of hair there. Get your darning needle. Grab that second piece of hair and bring it through there. Pull taut the end of your thread so it holds it. And hold on to the top so it doesn't pull back through. This is only if you have very long pieces of hair. And then you're going to take your needle and go through the top of the head again into the next hole. Oh, I lost my hair. Well, I'll have to show you this one on paper. It's giving me a bit of a problem. So let's go ahead and move on to the paper, and I'll show you how to do each of these methods on paper. Now, we already did reroute with the reroute tool, and then we did the lock and loop. So now we're going to work on that darning needle. So assuming that this is the top of your doll's head and the neck is on the other side, it's more preference than anything, you grab a piece of hair, and I'll show you that last method I was trying to show you before. Put the hair through the dental floss on your darning needle, pull the ends of the dental floss tight so it holds the hair, and you'll go in through the neck, up through the top, holding the other end of your hair at the neck, and that hair will come through. Then you take that second piece of hair, the same piece but the other end that's hanging out from the bottom of her neck, put it in through the loop of the dental floss on your hook, like so. So you're just basically using one long piece of hair instead of cutting it into shorter pieces. Tighten your dental floss so it has a good hold, and you're going to go into the next hole on your paper right next to it, in through the neck, out through the top. And then what you do is grab the two ends of hair, make sure they're nice and even, and pull them equally. And what will happen inside the head, you'll have a little notch like that with essentially two plugs made out of one long piece of hair. If you have shorter pieces of hair, I'll show you the next method. If you have shorter pieces of hair, and you can pre-knot a bunch of these, and that way when you go to do this part it's a little easier. You just tie your knot, stick the opposite end through your dental floss, pull the end of the dental floss so it holds the hair good. This way you can go in through the top of the head or in through the neck. I'm going to go through the top of the head first, that's why my knot is at the opposite end. So we're going to go in through the neck, and then bring the hair through. There we go. and then a little tug, and basically you end up with a little ball at the end. So that's what holds it in. It's the same concept as a hair plug, but it's an actual knot. Okay. Another piece of here. And I'm using thread in the paper, it just shows up a little better. You'll grab your darning needle, put your hair through, or don't tie your knot yet. Okay, so you have put your hair through, tighten your dental floss, and for this one you'll be going through the top of the head. Now some people say if you go through the neck it's too easy to poke the eyeballs or make a new hole, so they prefer to go through the top of the head. So for this one we'll go through the top of the head, and remember you have not knotted yet. Oh, I just lost my hair. Go in through the top of the head, out through the bottom, pull your hair through, hold on to the other long piece, pull the short end through, knot it, and like I said, you can double, triple knot it, put a little dab of glue on there so it holds well. So you're going to knot it really well. I'm just going to triple knot this. And from the top of the head, you just simply pull, and then that knot will catch. And it's the same thing, except for you can pre-knot when you're going from the neck up. You cannot pre-knot if you're going from the top of the head through the bottom. You have to knot last. And you can actually take a whole bunch of pieces of hair and pre-knot them if you're going through the neck up. So that's the darning needle method. And next I will show you the lock and loop method with the darning needle. And that's the method I'm going to be using on this doll. Thank you, and I will see you at my next video. Hello YouTube, and welcome to Babcia Crafts. This is Christina. I'm going to be showing you how to reroot the doll's hair using the lock and loop method with a darning needle. And the type of hair I'm using is OMG Remy Style by Eli's, and it's 100% tangle-free human hair and natural. Color number 4, it's about $6.99 plus tax. And on the back of the package it says that you are allowed to, how to care for the hair. You diffuse the hair, hair shampoo in cold lukewarm water. Immerse it gently, swish in water, don't rub or twist, which you wouldn't do that with a doll's hair anyway. Just rinse thoroughly, and you can use conditioner spray if you want. Allow the hair to dry completely before brushing, and you always brush from the bottom up, just as you would with any doll. You can style and curl as recommended, and for this one you're allowed to curl it with a curling iron, but you don't want to go above 400 degrees Fahrenheit, which I don't believe that's going to be a problem. This is also 100% tangle free, and it holds long-lasting curls. So if you have a girl that likes to play with her doll's hair and she likes it straight as well as curly, this would be the perfect hair for her for the actual rerooting process. Now, a lot of people just buy long strands of hair, and the problem with that is that you have to root them and tie knots. The type of hair I bought, once you take out of the package and cut the little gold rubber bands that hold it in place, is that it is a weave. So it will automatically hold in her head without me having to tie knots. that was the attraction for me as well. So we'll go ahead and start off with the darning needle process. Let's go ahead and unwrap all of the hair from the package. Now you'll still have to separate it in small pieces just as you do any kind of hair. But no knots, no tying knots. This is the nice part. Okay, so once you have your hair out, just pick it up and let it hang so that it untangles a bit. There we go. To make life easier, you can actually take a small piece of this and separate it with your needle. Like so, and then cut the weave, and it will still stay attached and it won't come out, but it's still that stopping point so that you don't have a ton of hair hanging out of her neck, because it will eventually get to the point where it's almost impossible to see what hole you're going through. And this makes it a little easier. It's about two pieces of hair here, so 2 plugs, and you would simply do the exact same thing that you did before. You're going to thread your needle with the dental floss or thread or anything that will work. Bring that through. Let's try doing one piece at a time. That seemed to work easier last time. Doesn't seem to want to go through easy that way, so there we go. We'll bring through one side, and then we'll just do this again. Put that through, hold the one end, put the other end through your threading guide, and then pull that one through. And make sure your 2 ends are even. And get your little loop. So you want to do the same thing. Wet your hair, put it through the loop on your darning needle, like so. Pull the tails of the dental floss. Bring it down on the hair about halfway, and you're just going to take your darning needle and go ahead and poke it through one of those first holes. Any hole will work. Come on. There we go. Grab it with your forceps, needle nose pliers, whatever you have. Bring the needle through and pull that piece of hair through. If you get little tangles like this, just take your needle and straighten them out. Now you want to do the same thing with the other side of the hair. Pull it through like so. Okay. grab the hair, tighten the knot on the dental floss so it holds very well. Hold it tight. Hold on to the hair that's sticking out and needle in. Okay. Put your needle in. Make sure that dental floss is tight. Grab the tip of the needle and bring that hair through. Now all you have to do is pull on both sides of the hair, and there you go. There are 2 plugs, and pretty much it's a daunting task, but you just do this all the way around her head. And that's my little video. Thanks for watching. Next I will show you how to make a wig.